Today we're going to show you how to calibrate the vision with a calibration target that does not have a fiducial. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get the calibration target. It's on the back of one of the control panels. And if you come a little bit closer, you're going to see I have marked on the calibration sheet an arrow that specifies that you're going in the positive X direction of the belt travel. And then also notice that I have a little pencil mark right on one of the squares here, and that's going to be the origin of the calibration. And then the next thing you want to do for preparation is you want to put a pointer on the robot. And then the next thing in part two, I'll show you what to do on this software. Okay, here's the software setup. We're going to assume that you have tight VNC on your computer. So right now on my computer screen, I have access through the tight VNC. So the first thing you want to do is come to the main HMI page, click the camera page, and then turn on the camera lights. Just one button there. And then you're also going to need to have Insight Explorer on your PC. It's version 6.5, so be sure you have that available and installed on your computer. And anyway, when the camera comes up, it's going to come up and it's going to be a screen similar to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to select a calibration job, and I'll show you what to do with that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera offline by clicking offline here, or you can come over to sensor offline right here, so I can do it either way. So look down here in the bottom right corner, you'll see that the camera's offline. Now I can select a job. So make sure what I did, let me back up here. I selected open job right here, and it brought up a dialog, and then right here there's Insight Sensors here in the bottom left. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to show you the camera. So I'm going to double click on the camera, and there's two jobs in there. One of them is our production job, and the other one is the vision calibration. So I'm going to go ahead and load that in. And now I'm going to press F6 to go into spreadsheet view. Okay, and then I am going to, how come I don't have access to it? Oh, make sure you, if on your network, make sure you have camera 3 highlighted here, like I do. Kind of mess that up a little bit. So make sure you're offline, and make sure you double clicked on your camera here. And then I'm going to go ahead and load the job again. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to take a trigger. I'm going to take a picture by pressing the trigger button or F5. And you'll see that the light flashes, and so you'll know that it took a picture, and you'll see all the checkerboards. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to click on the calib on cell A1, double click that, and it's going to bring up the calibration page. And just to verify, click on the setup, and it shows you that we're using a checkerboard with no fiducial, and that the grid spacing is 20 millimeters. And then I'll go down, the next one is called pose, and that's going to allow us to choose our locations or where the calibration is. So don't worry about these numbers here. You're going to be writing those down in part 3, so don't worry about those numbers right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger again and make sure that you see a pretty high number of feature points. And if you're not sure what you're looking at, you can click adjust region, and then you can see with the red outline how many squares that you're seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that. Now we're going to select the origin of the calibration. So the first thing I'm going to do is there's a button here called select origin. So I'm going to click that. And now you got to click right where I had that little pencil mark. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's right there. So I'm going to click that, and see it turned a different color, and I'll double click on it, and then I'm going to, it lights up the next button, and it says it's the the point on the x-axis. So I'm going to click him, point on the x-axis, so you go back to where the pencil mark is, and remember we're going down. Down is positive x, so I'm going to double click on that next point. Now we're going to select the y-axis, and going back to the origin again, now I'm going to move over to the right, which is going to be the correct direction for the y-axis, and that's it for part 2. Okay, we're going to finish up the calibration now, and first thing we need to do is connect the belt. So sometimes it doesn't connect, so what we're going to do is I'm going to manually rotate the encoder wheel a little bit, and then the program will see that the encoder counts have moved, and it'll probably connect. And then we'll come back over to the pendant, and we'll assume that you have a pendant plugged in. I have this one all primed up and ready to go. So up in the upper left, you're going to click that button, and we're going to click Program Editor, and I'm going to click Debug, and then I'm going to click PP to Routine, and you're going to navigate here to where you see Connect Belt. You're going to highlight it. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to squeeze the dead man switch here, and then click the play button on the pendant, and it's going to run the routine. So we're going to be connecting to conveyor number 1. So I'm going to click conveyor number 1, and then we're going to use soft sync, and then it's connected. So what that means is it's now the belt position has been reset to 0. So the next thing we need to do is prepare the jogging screen for the next operation. So I already have it up here. If you didn't have it up, just click up here and click jogging. And then what we want in the motion mode, if you just click on it, make sure it's set to linear. On the coordinate system, click it and make sure it's set to work object. On the tool, click it and make sure it's selected to T-pointer. And the work object, make sure you have work object 1 selected, because that's the pick belt. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the target under the robot. So I'm going to just do it from my computer, from Titan VNC. There it goes. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn the pick belt on and run it under the pointer. You might want to turn the pick belt speed down a little slower than I just did, because if you're running the target past the robot, you got to start this whole process over. So now I'm just going to put the pointer on the origin where our pencil mark was. So very carefully. And be careful not to poke a hole in the belt. So there's the origin. So now we're going to go back to the pendant screen, and I want you to write down these numbers that are on here, the X and the Y. So I'm going to get my tablet. And this will be the origin. So we have 456.06, and the Y is a minus 17.53. That's the origin. So you see I wrote that down on my page here. Now I'm going to move the robot to the farthest point in the X direction, and I got to make sure that I stay in this row where the origin is. I know some mistakes have been made where if you cross over and get it on the wrong row, you're going to really mess up the calibration. So be careful with that. So I'm going to Z up a little bit so I don't scratch into my target there. Zip on down somewhere. And now you can see I've got to move a little bit. Other way. There we go. Okay. Now, go back to the jogging window and you're going to write down those numbers. So I have 8:55.41, and then you have minus 23.14. Now we're going to go back over to my computer. We're going to bring up the vision page again. Remember I forgot which part it was, but part 2 probably. Here's these numbers now. We're going to update these numbers in the calibration page. And it says 456.06. And this is the origin, remember. This one says 17.53. And now it's going to ask you for an angle. So I have a little program I'll send to Brandon, and he'll give it to you and you can use it. And I'll go ahead and find it here, so give me a second. Over here, it's called compute point angle. Right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the numbers that I have for the origin, which is 456.06, and the Y is going to be 17.53, and then point on X is 8:55.41, and the other Y is going to be, continue, 23.14. Now click the button that says compute angle. That's the angle, that's the number. You can highlight it and copy it. Go back to the vision page. Paste it in the angle. And now you're ready to finish the calibration. So all you got to do is press calibrate. Boom. And it comes back here and it gives you a little indicator here. You can see the little arrow here. It says it's an excellent calibration. So go okay out of that. Now we're in the calibration job again, remember. So I want you to put the camera back online, and there's a button here that says export calibration. You've got to make sure that the camera's online. So I'm going to click export calibration, and that's all you got to do. It's done. What that did is it took the calibration from the camera and stored it into a special file. Now every time we open up the regular job file, it's going to import it in automatically. So let me go back. I'm going to take the camera offline. I'm going to select our job again. I'm going to say yes, bring it in. And when it loads, all you have to do is put the camera back online. Now you're ready for production.